Hi, this is Jeff with Mr. Hardwater. We're working on a really big window today, and we're going through a few techniques on how to best remove the hard water on these really big residential windows. And as you know, residential windows can be a little tricky sometimes because when you're polishing, they can really show swirl marks or hazing or other kind of things like that. So you need to know what you're doing, and you need to take it one step at a time. So we just polished a section up here, turned out really good. I used a liquid glass polish and with a combination of our steel wool pad and also use it with the nylon pad. No problems, works great, really confident. But now I'm down to the bottom of the window and I want to show you a few things that you can do to speed it up a little bit more. Now on this part of the job I'm actually going to switch to the powder now as an example, and also as a means to cut off the harder stains more quickly. Now I did use the steel wool pad with the liquid glass polish up there. So what I'm going to do, I want this pad for more liquid glass polish. So what I'm going to do is peel this off and set this thing off to the side in a clean place. And I'll pull that pad out later when I want to switch back to liquid glass polish. But for now, I'm going to put on another steel wool pad here, and I'm going to do some work with the powder. Now, if you're wondering how many pads you're going to need for a job like this, as an example, I did the other window, which was 9 feet wide and 7 feet tall, and I only used 2 steel wool pads and about a half of a nylon pad. But I really worn them down. I really used them. So let me give you an example of what you can do with the basic technique for the powder. So what I like to do here is, in this case, I'm going to just put on our splash guard. Get these suction cups a little bit wet here. And then we can put that up here so we're not spraying this stuff all over the place. Here, about right there. You see that? There we go. We'll put it right about right here. Just push those suction cups on. And there you go. And now we've got like a little splash guard. So what I'm going to do now is I've got the powder all mixed up, and it's starting to dry out a little bit, which is okay. Now, a lot of people ask me, what's the consistency? Well, the consistency is kind of you have to go by feel. You don't want it too thick, you don't want it too thin. Too thin's going to spray it all over, and too thick isn't really going to help much. But what I'm going to do is just going to polish out. I'm going to put a little bit of the powder on the glass like this. There we go. Maybe even lower, actually, if you can see that, because that's where some of the stains are. So let's do that. Okay. And now we'll put a little bit on the pad. And one of the things that I like to do here on these pads is I like to keep these tools running and just keep polishing. And you might think that as the tool's going, it's going to gum up the fibers and stuff. You know, that's true. It does gum it up. But a lot of times it doesn't matter. It works really well when the fibers get a little more gooped up. And what I like about that is that it helps to give a more even polish for me. It just seems to be easier to work with. So let's get started on this. I'm going to move the tool around. We're not going to get much overspray because this stuff's so dry. There we go, a little bit. And now we're working lower, and the tool already feels a little bit different. It grabs more. This powder and the pad, it really grabs the glass. So what you want to do is keep a nice even polish on it. And again, I'm using my right arm to really work the tool. This one just stabilizes it. So it's like when you're golfing, you use your left hand to pull the club through, and the right hand is just stabilizing the club head. So it's pretty much like that. And now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to let the powder dry again, a little bit drier, a little wet. I'm not putting a lot of pressure on it. I'm just letting the pad and the tool do its job. And I think that we're getting through this a lot quicker than with the liquid. Yeah, see, we're already through this. So what I'm going to do now is just kind of work lower. Oh, here's a trick too. Like when you get down to these frames, what you want to do is you want to take a towel and keep those frames dry. Because otherwise, when you get down to the frames, the frames collect the water, or the seals that is. The seals collect the water, and when you get down too low, it starts throwing all this water all over the place. So I like to keep a towel and keep all that dry. I'm not applying a lot of pressure here. I'm just letting the tool do the work. There you go. Nice. So I'm just going to kind of go easy, very, very easy, let the powder do the work. And look, as it's drying, I can already see that the window's clean now. Really nice. So now, let's see how we're doing. Let me get my water bottle here. And just see what we're doing. Yeah, it's not too bad. So one of the advantages of using the powder then is if you go lightly like this, you can get a lot of this, the hard water off, and then you can switch to the liquid glass polish if you want to just be a little more careful. So here, let's just finish this off a little bit more, and then I'll switch to the liquid. So what I'm going to do now is just paste a little bit here, and that's it. And now, pad's drying out. It's a little gummed up a little bit, but it feels pretty smooth. I like that. It's still cleaning, but it's smooth. So let's do it. Nice and easy. So I got it going on. Got it going. This is going to be an easier window than the last one. That's all you got to do. I think we're making a lot of progress on this window here. Alright, I think that's about it. So you can see as it's drying now, I can really start to see what's going on with the glass. I can tell if there's not much stains below it, beneath there. You notice also that I got the polisher pretty flat. You know, it's not jumping all over the place, which is nice. I want to get this bottom area now. You know, a lot of times when you're working on these seals, you really got to work hard at it because the hard water really collects at the bottoms here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to push a little bit harder now on these lower parts to try to knock that stuff off. There we go, I got it. That's about it. I don't want to apply a lot of pressure all over the rest of the glass, but that's pretty much what we got. Now if we keep polishing here, it'll just blow the dust right off. There you go. So I'll just take a towel now and just see how this is going. And looks pretty good. So this is going to be an easier window than the other one for sure. And now that I've got this done like that, what I'm really going to do now is I'm going to switch over to the liquid glass polishing right now because I don't need to polish anymore with the powder. And so let's switch back now, pull this pad off. I'm going to pull this pad off, but first if you take a look at this pad, you can see how the fibers are gummed up with the powder, and it's sort of like a plus. It sort of creates a very smooth polishing action. It's really good. One thing you don't want to do is what I did, is just put the tool down in the dirt, because now I just picked up a lot of rocks and little sand and stuff, and I could scratch the windows. But that's why I generally have a drop cloth when I'm working on a job like this. Try to keep everything as clean as you can. I did tear up the pad a little bit when I was working down below. So in general though, I wouldn't have messed around with this whole seal until I finished the whole window. And then that would have been the very last thing, and I could have torn the pad up and then throw it away and I'd be done. So let's pull this pad off here and set this off to the side in a clean place back here in one of my bags. And then here's a trick too. If you want to take some of this felt material out of these backing plates, just pull out your Triumph blade. You know, and this has to be an old scraper blade. You're not going to use it on a brand new one, but I don't do much window cleaning other than the hard water removal. So that's what I just use this stuff for. So what I do is spin it around and just kind of work it out. I just chipped it a little bit, which is what you don't want to do, but it's okay. So just kind of go easy on it, pull this stuff out of there. And if you can see that, that's good. So I just work it around like this, and good to go. So there's that.